You had to balance a lot of things.
Obnoxious to me.
We did like
the story.
We mentioned some complaints about the story. Yeah, if you might.
We inferred it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought like if you're just, you know, going out once in a while, seeing a movie, once twice a year, relaxing. We watch your summer blockbuster. You maybe watch Black Panther, and you don't
it was
watch
a
too many
kumbaya
movies.
time. There was like $5 hot dogs. I had a good time.
Yeah,
I wasn't really in a negative mood, but I can't go in the review going the story was fine because it wasn't. That would be very dishonest of me.
Yeah.
And very boring. Albeit the hot dogs were very entertaining.
Yeah, I think you were like watching another movie while we were watching the movie, right?
Yeah, like after the first hour, I was watching a bunch of Pluto TV.
Oh my gosh.
And I had a bunch of notes on it, like while I was Twitch streaming, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think?
So the first hour was very interesting. There was a voiceover, but it worked you should not have voiceovers for your films, but the voiceover part of Avatar, the Way of Water was pretty good to me.
So this was
I felt like
yeah,
it was like a Terrence Malick film with voiceover, and that was very interesting to me. And like you had the whole concept of like, the bad guy's back, except he's a clone AI thing, and that seemed like some interesting sci-fi twist to the sequel. For the sequel of the first movie.
Yeah, it felt like
They mentioned the whole idea about Earth is getting destroyed. They didn't move on was interesting, but they never did anything with that.
Yeah, it felt like the first part of the movie was like, okay, they're like going in a lot of interesting directions, like,
yeah.
And like it was setting up the whole rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And like it felt like there's so much potential, and like how it was being presented was really engaging.
Yeah.
Like, uh, like it's introducing his family, it's introducing the villain, it's introducing the villain having new powers and stuff.
Yeah.
And their new capabilities. It's also escalating things further with Jake Sully's crew, and that they're like escalating their assaults on like different trains and stuff, and there's like a big action sequence there too, and like how like the Na'vi were like getting more aggressive about getting armaments and stuff.
Yeah.
While also like introducing the conflict of like how his kids were like more more like trying to follow in their dad's.
Yeah, I was wondering if
footsteps.
like they would go the direction of like, maybe Jake Sully's a bad guy because like he just got lost in this war against the Sky People or whatever.
I don't think they were gonna go in that direction.
I think it was possible, but like they didn't end up doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $450 million on the line. I don't think they're gonna make the protagonist like. They want to make the protagonist like.
I mean, I don't know how many people care about the protagonist of the first film to care.
He's supposed to be like Sam Witwicky in like Transformers, like.
Evil Shia LaBeouf? You're saying Evil Shia LaBeouf would be an interesting plot twist?
You wouldn't want Evil Shia LaBeouf.
Well, but evil Mark Wahlberg, that would work,
right? Evil Mark Wahlberg. Did they do that in Transformers?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I guess I didn't watch that.
Yeah. I got annoyed, and this is a tangent, but I got annoyed about like the beginning of it because like, for some reason there was like, this director guy in the beginning. He's like, people don't understand the original trilogy, man. The fourth film is even better or worse. I forget what it was, but it was like some really dumb thing that was it seemed like a commentary on like online critics that seemed very obnoxious to me.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then it turned me off to the rest of the film.
Yeah, did they even test this game before did they even test this movie before they released it? That's a really obscure internet reference there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It did seem like they were trying to like show they were trying to like have you at the beginning with like, we're going to do things pretty different in this movie. We're going to have a different setup, and we're going to move you along to this next part of the movie. But then it kind of drags on in the middle.
In the middle, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just a bunch of sea life ASMR.
Yeah, it's like you just go on like YouTube, like Sea Life Ambience channel, and it's like do 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 do, and like you're seeing all the fish swimming. Oh.
Keep going.
Oh, 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 oh.
It
But
has like the Disney music when they do Fantasmic or something. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, so yeah, and also I think even Dad was saying stuff about how like this is like a kids movie.
He's looking at his phone.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
You're just sitting next to him. Yeah, we watched this movie with our dad because we felt like this is something we could watch.
He was
with
really
him.
he loved the first film.
He seemed like he was like all into like, oh, they made a second one. Let's watch this. He was like he was
And
like
he's not a film buff remotely.
yeah, so he was like into the idea of like watching a second movie in this series.
Yeah.
But then even after
And
we got
I felt like he felt a little bit like Asian pride, like obligated to watch the film too.
yeah, but then after he came out of the movie, he was like, that movie wasn't so good. But anyway, like I think
I don't think he was satisfied with the length of the film and everywhere.
yeah, when he mentioned the
Like the whole middle, they could have
Yeah.
cut down a bit.
he mentioned the middle.
I don't normally complain about length of films, but I don't think that added anything to the film.
He mentioned that the middle part of the movie was like this is like a kids movie. Like it's all about these 5 kids and like oh they're picking on me because of the bullies.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
I'm
Jake,
gonna-
Jake Sully's not even. Why is Jake Sully even in this part of the film?
I think it was like the plot of Free Willy or something.
And like,
Except that
the wife has nothing to do either.
right, and yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
they couldn't get her because like she was filming Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or something.
Yeah, Zoe Saldana was barely in this. I feel like.
And like Sam Worthington, they have no excuse for because like he hasn't been in a film since Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I did read a little bit.
Yeah.
About like where they want to take the franchise.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should mention that.
Maybe at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's for a different conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe that would even be a spoiler.
Yeah.
To like even outside the scope of even watching this movie. So, but anyway, and like yeah, that's how deep spoilers can get online now. Is like you can spoil movies that aren't even out yet, and I don't even want to hear about it.
It's like the thing that
how-
guy from the Chinese guy from the Daily Show
Those guys are already breaking. I better stop the entry. Wow, you all forgot your keys?
How's that feel? That's it, gloves are off! I'm gonna put you in the ground!
Pro tip, if you're not good at breaking or entering, maybe don't pull a B&E. Raspberry lip balm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Mudita Heart,
Yeah,
and then
pure PhD. Then everything gets screwed up.
you mean like there's like an evil version of these characters that like
No, I mean like
multiverse or something.
no, like, I mean like it's like normal Spider-Man. At least from this movie, not the other two, which he's not that bad in. He's pretty good in the other two films even. But like this film, he's like, Doctor Strange, I need you to cast a spell for me. Except like I'm gonna make you screw it up so that it screws up the entire universe and multiverses.
He's doing that on purpose.
Yes, that's the premise of. I think Spider-Man had one, or Tobey
Is it a
Maguire had one.
Sony?
It's the Sonyverse,
What's the Sonyverse?
like Morbius.
Morbius,
And-
Venom, Carnage, That's it, right?
And I think Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland counts.
Tom Holland is in the Sonyverse?
Yeah, it's a little tricky about that because like they want to some Spider-Man stuff, but like it's weird because like they had all the Sony property Spider-Man villains in this one, which really made me confused about who owned it.
Is the Venom Sonyverse in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
No, the Sonyverse one is the one with the 2 films with the guy who played Venom in this film, Tom Hardy.
Okay. So there's literally not any Spider-Man in this, like, Sonyverse. Okay, so it's not tied to any of these other Spider-Man we've been talking about. It's not tied to Tobey Maguire. It's not tied to Andrew Garfield. It's not
I think it's like it's only it's weird because they use the Sony villains, so I'm really confused by that. But like this is how the timeline goes. It's like Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and then just Marvel, and then Sonyverse at the same time. Even though like in the in the Marvel one, they have the Sony villains in it, which is the 2 different universes.
I just stopped. I tuned out.
It was hard enough just to follow
all I know is that this Venom is in the Sonyverse, which does not have Spider-Man in it or whatever.
And like, who knows what's gonna happen with
even though they're all Spider-Man villains or whatever. Even though they don't have a.
They can do a little like Venom, Far From Home or whatever this movie's called. Also, Venom Homecoming.
So that's just in here too, in addition to all this other stuff. How long have we been going for?
1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah.
It feels like longer than that. Okay.
Yeah, I was worried about like going through certain things because I thought like that would be emotionally draining, which is why I don't want to cover it.
Yeah, we don't have to go into super detail with everything. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one, and then the second one is just straight up a trailer.
I've never seen that before. Like it felt like one of those YouTube advertisements that was like an hour long that you can skip. Like it's like is that a real ad?
That's not a teaser, a cameo, or a stinger. That's just a trailer for a movie.
Yeah.
At that point, and and I don't expect that at the end. Now it's gonna keep me guessing every time I watch.
And I was already drained by the parts I didn't like of this film. That like I was like, wow, like, I gotta watch the whole trailer now. Jesus. And like the credits were really long too. It felt like it took a long time to get through the credits.
Yeah.
But it's pretty interesting. What do you want to talk about with that trailer?
I'll let you go first.
There's Wanda. There's like evil Doctor Strange.
Wanda, evil
Doctor Evil.
There's
multiverses.
Yeah, there's.
I guess that's all we know about it.
The main thing.
Doctor Strange is the worst. Is the villain. I don't know if he's like gonna be in like the Avengers. He's gonna be the Avengers villain, or what's going on with that?
I don't know how much you want me to give spoilers to other things.
Nope.
They
mentioned Wanda like knowing about this stuff.
She's like a certain level. They like have a name for like an Omega level threat or whatever in Marvel.
Right. And like,
so Wanda's
like all these like Thanos gems are like made of whatever.
Yeah, any threat to the universe is like a certain level of threat or whatever. Yeah. And like in WandaVision, she's like doing all kinds of crazy stuff there.
Yeah.
There are versions of Doctor Strange doing all kinds of crazy stuff and other things too, I will say.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you gotta use that budget, you know?
Yeah. So yeah.
I wonder...
Doctor Strange is a character that can go in a lot of different directions, and they already have taken him in a lot of weird directions already.
Is it really Ned, but like he transformed into like evil Doctor Strange? Like he used the ring and all that magic.
Oh yeah, is Ned supposed to be like the next Doctor Strange? Because like
the next Sorcerer Supreme.
He had the sling ring, and then I think he was wearing the cape at some point.
Yeah.
So are they implying Ned is going to be the Sorcerer Supreme? Also,
I feel like a lot of people would hate that, but like I don't know if like people. I think Marvel fans will love it. I feel like people would like fun stuff. Yeah.
Also, technically, Stephen Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme.
He isn't. Yeah, and in this film, he said he lost that right or whatever.
Yeah, but it's a whatever. Yeah. It's like a thing. It's a whole thing. But it doesn't affect anything. It doesn't affect anything.
They're like, whatever. It's not a big deal. Wong was
also Wong appears for a minute.
Yeah.
Just to give some sass, and then he disappears.
He was right. Wong was right the whole time. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man were a bunch of idiots. They should have listened to Wong.
All these movies would be solved if Wong was listened to. Every single Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, Baron Mordo is in the new Doctor Strange movie. At least in the trailer.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, shit.
He was.
Oh, wait, yeah, he was. Yeah. Actually, he was. They showed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot. It's so forgettable.
I don't know what
I mean,
Wong was
they
in the
didn't
trailer.
do anything with him. Like
I didn't
this
see
whole time.
Tilda Swinton. I think it was her. Yeah. Unless Dennis Leary did.
I mean, I don't think that's possible to see Tilda Swinton.
Oh, okay. I
think you forgot.
I might have forgot something, but don't mention it to me. There's a lot of multiverses and stuff. Like it's hard to keep track.
Also, it's
some multiverse movie, so like maybe she can't.
Also,
show
it
up.
is possible for her to show up potentially too. It's also possible.
This is what shit like comedy.
And also, literally
it's
anything
much
can happen.
magic.
Also, literally anything can happen. Also, she has appeared in other movies and stuff. So, yeah. So I guess she could do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, Doctor Strange is a very interesting kind of character and like a whole set.
This is a 3D film, which is
it's a 3D movie.
Yeah, like they offered it in 3D, which would have been great to watch in 3D.
I think it's gonna be complicated enough as it is in 2D. I don't know if I need 3D for it.
Yeah.
But that's good that they have that off. Wow, they're doing 3D again for movies now. Interesting. Yeah. I feel like they haven't done 3D. Are they doing? I feel like they started doing IMAX again recently too.
Yeah, they didn't use the Mary Jane from the original Tobey Maguire universe.
Whatever.
They didn't use the new Goblin. They didn't use the original Lizard. They didn't use.
Yeah, whatever.
I
think they gotta have to. I think as a production issue, and also just
they already had too many characters already.
I know story thing. You just need to have enough characters, a good spread. A good spread, but not enough to have a good spread, but not enough to overwhelm people. And even then, I still feel like a lot of people were overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think they definitely didn't need the Lizard, and I felt like Sandman, they gave up writing someone.
They just kind of.
He's a good character, but
I feel like they skipped some scene with him or something. I don't know what happened. She was like, "I just want to see my daughter again. I'm gonna destroy you."
I hate Spider-Man.
I hate Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That's what every Spider-Man villain says. Spider-Man.
Yep.
That's this Spider-Man. That's what there's this movie has 6 villains saying Spider-Man.
You gotta say Spider-Man in uniform.
Curse you, Spider-Man. Curse you, Spider-Man. Curse you, Spider-Man, and curse you, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You. Pointing around. All right, that's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. So overall, I think it was a very fun movie. There's a lot.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
There's a lot of fun. It's pretty hard to follow. But
maybe some parts might have not been perfected because of whatever.
I'm glad I could follow as much as I could.
That was fun, yeah.
I'm glad,
And the best moments of the film are what you're gonna remember, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna keep you watching it.
Given all the things I did not watch, I still enjoyed it a lot.
I mean, before the pandemic, your last film was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm also feel like I don't feel obligated to go back and watch the ones I missed now too. So that's fortunate because it saves me some time. Because I feel like I could get the gist of what I needed to with this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like
you mean the other Spider-Man films?
The Amazing Spider-Man and
right.
And Spider-Man Far From Home too. I also don't feel like I'm being spoiled in a big way that's gonna ruin my experience of those movies either.
Yeah.
So it felt okay to just watch this without the context of those movies. It's also I also watched the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and I thought it was a lot of fun watching those characters again in this movie. So it was worth seeing those characters.
There was a Morbius trailer before this film was played.
Yeah, and they also said from the creators of Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm I haven't even watched this movie yet, so you're already hyping this.
They should put that in the trailer at the end credits, right?
Yeah.
And
Morbius is in the same universe as the Sonyverse as Venom, right?
Yeah.
along with like
Even though like Blade isn't somehow.
oh, Blade isn't.
I think Blade is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for some reason.
Also, apparently, there's a Ghost Rider in Agents of Shield,
I've heard about that.
and he's in the Hell dimension.
Is that just hell? Is that what dimension now?
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki, there's like a wiki for different dimensions, like the quantum realm, the astral dimension, the mirror dimension, and then they also had one for the Hell dimension where Ghost Rider's from. I don't really understand. I was reading it. I was like, this just sounds. I don't know what the deal with this is. I don't really get it. It's not important. Sounds cheesy.
You wonder if they're gonna have a Madam Web or something.
Oh, okay. That'd
Yeah.
be interesting.
Yeah.
I really would like them to have more of the stuff from like the Spider-Man animated series. Not literally like, from that universe,
Like
but
those
like
characters.
those elements
Yeah.
like reused in this. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of really cool stuff in there that like I would love to see again.
Yeah, I don't really cross over real much, unfortunately.
Yeah. But it's a good Spider-Man. This is a fun movie. It's a
Fun
very
movie.
good action, good story, good
I
emotions.
remember it better than
good
I remember the
drama.
second film.
Good drama.
It done like good moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the thing.
I haven't made a solid decision on what I think of the film yet, but like,
Yeah.
there's definitely some good parts of the film. Yeah.
I will say though, if you are the type of person that like when they watched Civil War and was like, I don't understand what the fuck's going on, then like I feel like this is gonna be one of those kinds of movies where it's gonna be hard to follow a little bit, and I can't speak to that.
I felt like I
I
watched like almost everything, and I still couldn't follow everything.
Yeah.
Just because like
It's hard to remember everything.
Yeah.
So
Like they don't really like.
they don't like flashback or
Yeah,
whatever.
if you don't watch the other films, I don't know if you would really care about Tobey Maguire's character. Well, I feel like the other Spider-Men are done well. The villains, I'm not sure if you would necessarily care about because like
Right, they don't-
the other Spider-Man's like the new Uncle Ben's now, basically, which is pretty cool.
Right, they're like their father figures or whatever.
Yeah, especially Tobey Maguire.
Right, because
He's 20 years older.
He's their grandfather.
He's Grandpa Spider-Man.
Hey, Sonny, with great
Big
power comes great
responsibility.
responsibility.
Oh, my back.
That's what my Uncle Ben used to say. Oh, okay, old man. Aunt Mason. No, we know, we get it. With great power comes great. Say the line, Peter. With great power comes great responsibility. Yay, he said the line.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. Like, I feel like the Spider-Man like tropes, they've been done so often. It's sort of like the Titanic review on Relevant Media, where like everyone knows what they are. Like, there's only so much we can do with them at this point, since it's been like 20 years of media of it.
The only thing you can do is to start back referencing them.
You have to do postmodernism now with
Yeah.
them or something.
Yeah, you
like,
have to.
Because
Yeah.
like we all know what the Green Goblin did at this point. The Dr. Octopus story is original. The Lizard, sort of not really, but like at least it was a different actor.
I
But
don't
like
know.
yeah, the Green Goblin we've done so many times already.
Yeah, it is. I guess I will say, as much as I enjoyed this movie, like I will say now with more and more Marvel movies, even with like the post-credit sequence stuff, everything is just becoming solely for fans who are like following every little thing now, or at least follow enough of it. It's becoming a cumbersome thing where like they have to deal with more continuity than like and be able to like have more free reign to deal with new continuity. And I think that's part of the reason why they're going into the multiverse direction is so they can have some clean slates to just kind of wipe some stuff over again.
Okay, so
Now
they might delete a universe
so they'll
or like
delete
ignore
a universe.
or ignore one.
They'll like have a big climactic multiverse event that like destroys universes or
Or
whatever.
maybe they just ignore it.
Or kills characters, or they just have a new character to rewrite the character, or just like have something to get rid of old actors so they can like stop paying them so much and stuff, because that's something you have to deal with in Hollywood compared to the comic books or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, these things are becoming like I can barely keep up with what's happening anymore. So that's probably one of the reasons why they're going in this multiverse direction. Is to just be able to like have start to like pare down a bit. After you got to go open things up in order to start paring down.
How many characters would you say was in the film?
I don't fucking know, man. It was like probably like several dozen or something.
Several
It was a lot.
dozen. And then
Probably
we're in the post credit sequence. It's like a number 6.
This is like, I mean, yeah, it's like it's ridiculous, right? Like I forgot Daredevil was in this. I was like,
I forgot Daredevil. Yeah.
yeah, right. Like,
I guess he wasn't like a main character, but he's still a character. Yeah. And like, I guess you don't really, if you don't know who Scarlet Witch, I guess you sort of know who Scarlet Witch is based on that trailer.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single thing is dealing with like a dozen characters and
Yeah.
stuff. And like me, I've already had to be like, oh yeah, this already is a thing here. This is another thing there. I have to avoid spoilers for that because there's a million different things that they all tie into each other and they all spoil each other. It's impossible to keep up with anything. It's a full-time job keeping up with all this stuff.
Journalists, writers, yeah.
I feel like journalists have a good job, a good gig going to do the Marvel Cinematic Universe beat because there's constantly more stuff for them to cover.
Yeah.
But like, you know, for like an average person, if you just wander into this movie, you're like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
There was that problem before in like the 2000s where like WWE would have like 3 pay-per-views in 1 month. People were like, yo, how am I going to find enough time to do this and like watch like 3 WWE shows?
Yeah. Like people can't just like have this endless deluge of content, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's got to be a breaking point, you know.
Yeah.
But like somehow like and like you know that. To be fair, this was what we were signing up for with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Because like TV shows are something you just have long-term fans follow infinitely.
Yeah.
Manga series are, you know, it's easier to just have a show go on for 30 years than it is to start a new series.
Yeah.
It's easier to have fans of Simpsons watch it for 30 years than start a new series.
Yeah.
It's easy, and then like they brought the techniques of television, serialized television, into film with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
And then they just started off this whole kind of a treadmill of like, well, now we have to do this whole thing for like movies for like over a decade now. And they just have to keep it rolling. And they've like been able to milk that like really, really well. And this is just what we signed up ourselves up for as fans and stuff. And not only that, Disney has been able to parlay that into like synergy with now their deals with other companies and Fox and like, you know, now like Quicksilver or whatever, and you know now outside the scope of even watching this movie. So, but anyway, and like yeah, that's how deep spoilers can get online now. Is like you can spoil movies that aren't even out yet, and I don't even want to hear about it.
It's like the thing that that guy from the Chinese guy from the Daily Show was like, I don't want to decide things. I want it here right now. I don't want to wait 1 day. I don't want to wait 1 hour. I want you to decide what I want. Give me AI or whatever, yeah. I don't want to think about it. Just give me what I want.
Yes,
I feel like
he seems like a pretty toxic fellow.
I feel like some of the aspects isn't like films. Like people don't want the same thing over again. They don't want something different, but they want something that you thought of before that they haven't thought of somehow. But they don't know what it is, so they're just gonna complain.
Yeah, and yeah, that's really, I mean, that's like really pulling magic out of a hat, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, you know, and when people can do that, they really were trying to do a lot of that at the same time with this movie.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it was because they had to live in the legacy of the first movie is why they had to.
To be fair, I can't write a sequel to Avatar, so they did a better job than I would, and I don't consider myself a bad writer.
Yeah, so they had to like do a lot of stuff where like they had to like, yeah, they had to balance a lot of things where they have to like be like still following the same elements of the first movie.
Yeah.
So people who like the first movie would like this one.
That's probably why they brought the Colonel back, because like they're like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
And the first movie did well. If he's in this film and that film, the other film got to do well.
Right, and then they got to also like make this movie kind of interesting on its own, so to have its own new elements.
Yeah.
With like the water stuff.
I like the children.
Right.
The character dynamic, the family dynamic, which is interesting.
Right, and like the new elements they introduced with that.
And the spider.
Right, that.
And wow, there's another tribe on Pandora.
New tribe, and then the fact that there are other tribes on Pandora is a whole nother concept. And then also they got to set up the fact that you can feel like they have a lot of room to explore sequels for this movie series as well.
Not only is there a water tribe, but there's like 1,000 water tribes on that.
Yeah, there's like a lot of water tribes in the water tribe too.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, Jermaine Clement is in this as a marine biologist who drinks a lot.
Oh yeah, because he's part of the military industrial complex. He doesn't like it.
He's like, I came to help marine life, and he's being.
Unfortunately, I'm part of the military now, and I hate it.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't even know how he would even get off the planet or do something else. Really, he's kind of stuck there, right?
Also, like this Jermaine Clement, when they filmed him like 10 years ago or something, it's not even like he just filmed it.
He looks really different, right? Yeah.
I don't know, because like I don't know what he looks like, but like 10 years. The Jermaine Clement in this film is completely different from the Jermaine Clement now.
That's funny. They also said like this is a random thing. I don't think this is a spoiler. There's a general character in this, and like they interviewed her at some point, and she said like, "Oh, I thought this movie came out already, but it bombed." Yeah. But apparently that's because she filmed her stuff 4 years ago.
Okay.
So that's why she felt like she didn't hear about it. Is because, but
I mean, I haven't heard about it when it came out. It's like the third highest grossing film of the year.
Yeah.
It's just how it's very peaceful now online, at least. I guess.
So yeah. Well. Yeah, it's. I feel like not a lot of my circles have been. I feel like most of my circles.
It's not a very memey film.
It's not a very memey film. It's not a lot of cosplay you can do with the film. It's more like
that's great, right? Like you can't really. There's no Navi cosplay yet.
I feel like it doesn't.
I guess
really
Spider you can cosplay as.
I don't know. There's like I feel like Lord of the Rings. I was watching a lot.
Lord of the Rings is hard to cosplay too, because like how do you know it's Lord of the Rings is not another fantasy thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
There's actually like a Super Sentai character that looks like Spider.
Oh really?
Yeah. So like I don't know if you saw both of them and you'd be able to tell like which one was which if they were cosplaying as them.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of like weird characters that like would be hard to identify, Sigourney Weaver's in this movie.
Yeah.
As Sigourney Weaver's character in the first movie and like flashbacks and stuff.
And like
but apparently she's also
codex or whatever, yeah.
In like a codex or whatever. Yeah. But apparently she also motion captures her.
This is spoiled to me like online before I even watched the film. Also.
Oh, you learned that beforehand?
I didn't. Well, the thing is,
even when
I didn't watch the film, so I didn't know who. They showed a picture of a Navi, and I didn't know who that was.
And then when you watched it, you were.
I still didn't know which character she was.
So apparently, she plays the daughter, her own daughter.
Yeah.
Through motion capture, through the power of motion capture.
Oh, that's who she played. I don't think you explained that to me. That makes sense.
Yeah. So like the character that's like.
It's only for motion capture, not the voice.
I don't know how they did the voice exactly. Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah. I guess she's still fit and everything.
She's
so she's still like a young motion cap stuff. Yeah.
Young face or whatever. Yeah.
Well, she did all the stunts for Aliens and Alien and all that stuff.
Yeah. Also, in terms of stunts for this, Kate Winslet set a film record for longest breath held under for a free diving stunt, which was over 7 minutes. Even though she was in the movie for less than 7 minutes or whatever, it felt like might as well have been less than 7 minutes.
So they made her breathe on the water, but they didn't use all of it or something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, free diving underwater means you hold your breath underwater. I guess.
That's probably what they did in Titanic, also.
Yeah, I guess she has experience with that.
Yeah. So if there's ever a time where she's on the cruise ship and it crashes, she's like, "Don't worry, guys, I got this. I know what to do. I know what to do. Follow me."
How many times is she gonna be? She's get another one going.
She's a cruise ship crash prepper.
Yeah, this is all thanks to James Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so the second act, we were talking about the second act of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, our dad was like, that was like a kid's movie. They just got into like a Free Willy kind of plot where it's all about bullying and stuff.
It's weird too, because like, that bully kid is such an asshole, and like
And he doesn't come up later on.
he does come out later on.
Has nothing to do with anything, really.
The
The only thing it progresses towards is
it just wastes some time, really.
it progresses.
And it brings you to the whale.
It brings you to the whale,
Yeah.
who becomes a plot point.
It becomes the most sympathetic character in the movie.
Your favorite character was the whale in the movie.
Because they didn't ruin it with any stupid plot points.
Yeah.
Like he's mistreated by the water tribe, and like he's the savior in the end.
Yeah. Also, there's no unobtainium in this movie. Until,
I forgot about it until you mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah, in the first movie, it was all about the unobtainium.
Yeah.
This movie, they're like, oh, we don't care about unobtainium anymore. We just want the planet. But then they're like, no, wait a second. We want this stuff from the whales. It's worth more than $80 million a vial. And then they also don't care about it later on. They're just like, we need Jake Sully now. They're just,
The whole okay.
what's your priority here, guys? Do you have any idea how much
Don't
this
drop
costs?
it. Don't drop it. But
This-
you dropped it in the movie.
You have no idea how much this costs. This is worth more than all
What
the
kind of like
holes.
comedy are they running? Right? Like all they do is build machinery stuff.
This also like it's from the brain fluid of the whales, but apparently it's for eternal life. Somehow, I don't think the whales live forever. Why is it for eternal life for humans
I don't
exactly?
think the whale lives a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was been around for a while.
Right, the secret to slowing down aging or something.
Yeah.
But then even then, they don't use it. Nobody slows down their aging in this movie.
Yeah.
And also, whatever happened to the unobtainium? They just forgot about that? Like, they come back to the planet and they're like, we don't care about that anymore. It's not a big deal.
Jake Sully is some bullshit. Yeah, the whole Jake Sully plot is a bunch of bullshit.
I guess
They don't explain it well. Don't give your explanation.
it's vaguely about, like, the Colonel wanting revenge for getting killed by Jake Sully.
But why does everyone else care? Like, you don't have to go with the Colonel.
They go along with him, I guess. They're his crew.
Yeah.
Like, they revived his crew to work with him again.
I don't know. I can't remember what they looked like in the first film.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to recognize them in this film, too, because they're all Na'vi people.
It's the same in the budget. They don't show them as much as they show the Colonel.
I only recognize two of the Colonel's people. One is the one with like the aviator sunglasses, and then the other one's the woman, and then that's all I can recognize.
There's like five of them, that's it.
The woman in combat fatigues, and that's the only two I recognize.
I didn't really recognize them. It's just they stand out in this film because they look a little different.
Yeah, and yeah, so anyway, the middle part is like some filler, and then the final act has like two final acts. The final act is like a big action sequence where they face off between the Na'vi and the
We're back on the ship again.
ship, and then but then after the so anyway, the Na'vi the ocean Na'vi people fight off the Wayland Yutani people. I don't even know what they're called, really. Like,
The Earthlings.
The
Earthlings.
The human
Sky people.
but they're not even. They're sky people, but they're also Na'vi too, right? Like
Yeah.
they're
And I don't
also
get,
not even avatars.
I don't get why the birds or whatever, like the bird things, like even listen to the Na'vi who are AI or whatever, or clones or whatever.
They still use the hair loop stuff or whatever.
It's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a scene where he like tames one or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, they have that whole thing where supposedly he's bonding with his son, and like that's like a bunch of like God of War like sequel bullshit to me, or like remake bullshit to me.
yeah,
In terms of like how a son and a father bond.
yeah, very very dude bro approach to it.
I remember that's what he did, but like I think it just came out of nowhere in the end, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a huge battle sequence. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's worth the price of admission. 3D action. Everybody's using all their powers and stuff.
Yeah, there was that cool thing where like the gun reloads itself on the ship, which is the harpoon gun
There's
reloads
like
itself
crab,
mechanically.
right? There's like crab robots grabbing things. There's like
They were emphasized a lot more in the first film, and then this film they're like not a big thing.
there's like a whale destroying a cruise ship. There's like
The whale was badass, man.
there's like the Na'vi people diving underwater, jumping above it, diving, jumping,
Yeah.
biting people off boats,
Yeah.
off off like I don't even know what to call those boats. Like those boats that like bounce.
Military
in
boats,
and
I
out.
guess. Yeah.
Like they're not speedboats, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like night. I'm picturing like a night boat from Simpsons. Like.
They don't talk, right?
What?
Night the Avatar 2 night boats.
That'd be perfect. Then they turn the
Colonel, we have to disobey that order, sir.
Yeah. Also, they kind of introduced like a lieutenant to the colonel in this movie, like who's the Australian guy, and he's like sort of this secondary villain in this movie.
And then the lady, like, you forget about her after a while.
The general is just introduced, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, she's gonna be this whole new villain, and they just drop her completely. I'm like, wait, what happened to her? Like, totally forgot about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of things that, like, okay, I guess these are all things that could be part of a sequel.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, better payoff, but I don't know. You got to give me a little more or something here.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were really trying to pack it in with the action sequences.
Another problem with this, like, Avatar thing is that it's not part of an existing franchise.
Yeah.
So you can't be like. Actually, how you could have done that was like, at the end of this film, like show that like, is the Colonel in a Na'vi form revived? That would have been like the whole cinematic universe cameo moment that you could have done from MCU. But like, there's just not enough characters that you can like reintroduce at the end of a film that would spawn a franchise with.
Right.
Because there's no existing stuff. There probably is, but like, I don't know how much of it's well known. Like with like Nick Fury at the end of like the first couple films or whatever.
Right. I also feel like they don't really create a lot of memorable characters.
Like the characters they were having pretty shitty.
all the bad guys look the same to me, and like they're not like, oh, this guy's back. He was really cool. Like there's not like a Captain Phasma or anything.
You see, Captain Phasma is alright, right? People complain with Captain Phasma, but like she's like the female leader of the stormtroopers or whatever they're called in the sequels.
Even though like they don't do much with her, I'm like, I wish they did more because she's an interesting looking character, right?
Yeah,
that seems.
She
cool.
stands out.
Like I don't think anyone in this crew really stood out. They're all just kind of gun-toting, like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they all kind of.
Even some of the Na'vi like don't stand out.
That's also kind of true.
Like the last or second to last sequence, like you don't even see them. They could have been like trying to help them survive the ship or something, and then like they totally ignore them.
I like the chieftain and the wife in the ocean tribe though. Those seem like interesting characters.
Yeah,
those seem like fine.
And then like when they're like stuck on that ship when sinking, like they're like you're on your own.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that leads to like the final act, which is like a sinking ship.
Yeah.
It's like you could tell they had like some kind of practical ship they had built.
I mean,
I guess a studio that they actually.
It's pretty obvious, yeah.
So it's pretty amazing what they did for that.
I guess
like all the combination of like all the underwater motion capture and then also like these practical effects of like a sinking ship. They did all this really amazing work for this movie.
If the Water Tribe guy did something, that would have been a lot more boring than them just like trying to survive a sinking ship.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but also they don't explain away some. They also don't give any explanation as to like why there isn't any interference. At that point, they're just like, oh yeah, they're stuck on this ship now. But like, where is everybody else during all this?
Also, yeah, like
happening.
The water Na'vi can breathe underwater. So like they'd be very useful in that situation where they have to hold their breath in that ship.
So
sinking.
They actually can't breathe underwater. They're just really good free divers. They'd
be very helpful in that situation.
Yeah, they can be really, really helpful. Yeah. Also, they just straight up introduced this like butterfly backpack thing that lets you breathe underwater. Why don't they just carry that around everywhere they go? They should just have that at all times. Then you wouldn't need to deal with like
Magical Fairy Girl.
And then only Magical Fairy Girl. That's also the Magical Fairy Girl is played by Sigourney Weaver. Yeah. Her name is Kitty. Yeah. Kitty, kind of like Kitty, but Kitty. That character is also basically the same name as the character from Dark Crystal, Kira, who also is like a magical fairy girl who has like magical fairy wings. Yeah. And like communicates with the earth and stuff. Very, very similar kind of character.
Right.
Kind of trope there. Basically the same name as well.
Of course I can swim. I'm a girl.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I
Yeah.
And like, yeah, they just give her the magical ability to talk to all life on Pandora and the water and stuff. And then the kids, hey, you're like some kind of a freak or something. And then like, hey, back off of her, buddy. And like, I don't understand why I'm different, Dad. This is literally the story. And like, hey, you're not different. Come, tell me about it. Like, this is terrible storytelling. I don't know.
It's a bunch of kids like bullying each other and like.
She has magical powers, and you guys are not freaking out about this. This is amazing. Like, I don't know. You guys have nothing better to do, and like, there's nothing.
These kids are all bullying. These kids are all bullying each other, and like.
And you kids can't do anything less.
And you guys are parenting, and like. What exactly is Jake Sully doing there and all that? Like, the kids are all like fighting each other. He's not watching his kids.
Hey, you gotta let kids fight their own battles, man.
Hey, well, that was a cool moment where he's like, "Okay, next time you gotta punch him in the face."
Yeah, but
And then like later the kid's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the one who went to see the well. I had nothing to do with the chieftain's son." And they're like, doesn't go anywhere because like they don't bring up the chieftain's son anymore.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even show up in the last battle or anything.
Yeah, I don't really remember him showing up in the last battle, and yeah. Anyway, and then there's a big showdown with the Colonel.
Yeah.
Which I think is like pretty cool how they escalated and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's very little emotional payoff for it because I don't feel that invested in the Colonel and stuff. I felt because like there's a standoff with like, oh, I'm gonna get Spider. You better watch out.
No, okay, let me set this up.
Anyway,
Let me set this up. So like, the Colonel gets one of the children. His friends to kill him, and is like, "Come on, Sully, give yourself up to him." And Spider's like, "No, don't do it," because like he's the romantic interest for that lady. And then, in a really dumb moment, because of all the stuff we said about like,
wait, Spider's the romantic interest for Kira?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway.
I thought it was at least because he kept grabbing the tail or whatever.
Alright, I don't remember. Okay,
Anyway. So like, what was I saying? So like, yeah, like, the Zoe Saldana character shows up and was like, well, you have our offspring, we're gonna get your offspring.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense because like, he doesn't show. First off, like he doesn't show any emotion for Spider when they're like in all those scenes together. And second off, like, do you want him to show emotions for Spider in the film? Because like, wouldn't that go against like the whole thing you're advertising with this character to begin with? That's supposedly appealing that he's like this badass evil character.
I mean, it's like if he doesn't have any weaknesses like that, he literally have no kryptonite or whatever. Basically, like this is his one weak point.
I mean,
in the whole
he has
movie.
some weaknesses, like he can't speak Navi well or something.
His weaknesses might be his kneecaps or something. Like, I don't know.
Kneecaps?
Do you have any weaknesses? My kneecaps. I don't know.
Yeah, it can't be his hair because he has a crew cut.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's got to be his only he has no relations with anybody in the.
He's like the Joker. He has no family in the Dark Knight. He has no family. No one knows him. He has no origin.
He has
for some reason, he has no origin.
He has no origin. He has no labeled weapons. He has custom tailored clothing.
Right. No weapons, just knives and cards or whatever.
Yeah, so.
All the build up. I don't even know why they had to keep him alive in this film. Like,
yeah,
you just established that he has. They can clone AI him.
Yeah.
So like, why do you have to keep him alive in this film? Just build another one for the next one.
Yeah, he also says like, "I will come after your family and kill them if you don't face off with me right now, Jake Sully. I will kill your family." And then Spider's like, "Man, I can't kill him. That wouldn't be right."
No, don't be really. You can't kill him because like you're an idiot. That's why.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I get it though. Like, he spared.
So,
he
yeah,
spared
I
his
do-
life.
I-
He spared his life.
There's that thing, and what they tried to do but failed was like they want to do a parallel where Jake Sully has a family, and the Colonel has a family.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah,
it fails
exactly.
horribly because like there's no emotional attachment that I
Yeah.
can see at least between the Colonel and Spider.
I wish they could have like escalated the stakes of that a little more, like, or like just made you feel more invested, or made that a little more believable. Yeah.
If it was believable, that would have been very good.
I think a little bit of it happens in the scene where like Spider's showing them the way of the Na'vi when he's like getting his first bird creature and stuff, and they're like bonding over that and everything. But that's
Later on, like he's like burning the towns of like the water clans and stuff, and like
Yeah.
there's like nothing. All that's down the window after those scenes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah. So, I mean, this guy's like a ruthless killer. Like, I don't know, he's really not.
It's not like you watch Halloween and then when you go to Mike Myers, you're like, "Well, I gotta keep you alive. I'm your son."
Yeah.
Like I gotta save him from that burning building. Like this is for the betterment of the mankind.
Mikey Myers?
I'm his son, Mikey Myers.
Spider Myers?
Mr. Myers, I'm your son.
Larry Burns.
Larry Burns.
All right.
I was born in this highway off the middle of the road. I had this relic. I had this antique shop, and now I'm here in your mansion.
Yeah, Larry Burns. That was a good episode of Simpsons. I'm glad we watched that.
That was better than this movie. Well, storyline wise,
Yeah.
not in terms of production.
Yeah.
It's like that the visual storytelling and like the whole thing with the water tank is better than the animation that Simpsons had at the time.
Yeah, I agree. I would pay $16 to watch Avatar's production values.
Yeah.
But I would be more entertained by watching an episode of Simpsons.
Especially with Larry Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like definitely like go back to be like, oh, I just want to see this clip of like this scene where they're swimming in the water again, or like seeing what the action sequence was
Yeah.
like, or seeing the sinking ship again, just
Yeah.
on like YouTube or whatever, just to be reminded of what the theatrical experience was like. And like the 3D was pretty good in this. I feel like usually like in the past I'm not always that into 3D, but
Yeah.
like this time it felt like, oh, this 3D is like actually working pretty nicely.
And I think something you mentioned that was pretty good is like they could have fixed stuff. Like it's not like well some stuff they can't fix because like Spider grew like 10 years from whenever he first was in the film, but like there was some plot stuff they could have fixed up and they had plenty of time to do it. And like they didn't have to release it right away. They already rated like 13 years for a sequel. But like yeah, if they had just fixed that stuff, it'd be a perfectly fine movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, the budget was probably growing and growing enough as
I
it was
mean,
going.
there's probably someone that's like, no, you just gotta release it. We gotta make some money, cut losses.
just get it out there. We gotta hit that date.
I mean, yeah, like we heard about like Christopher Nolan, right? And like Oppenheimer, and like he makes that whole nuclear explosion or whatever it is that we heard about.
They don't say what it. Okay, this is another movie that we saw a preview for, Oppenheimer. So they don't say if they made a nuclear explosion, but they
Right.
said they had a practical effect for a nuclear explosion.
Oh wait, so is it? Maybe it's like a miniature, and then they like green screen or
It
something.
could have been a miniature or something.
Okay, they didn't make that clear in the articles I was reading. Was the thing?
Yeah, they left it a little ambiguous. The article I read said that the marketing people left it ambiguous as
Yeah.
well. Like they're like, what they mean by this, we're unsure, but this is what they told us.
That's a really bad move by the marketing people. But in any case,
I think
like,
that's deliberate though. They want it to sound like like to make people freak out a little bit, like for the sake of like
one of the
watching
worst
it.
movies
Yeah.
ever made was made out of nuclear. I forget if it was a nuclear plant or like a nuclear test site, but like it was made there, and
Oh my gosh.
it was horrible. That's why
Oh,
it was one of
like
the worst
it-
films of all time.
Oh, you mean like a lot of the crew got sick and stuff?
Yeah.
I heard about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
heard about that movie. Yeah.
But in any case, like there's some stuff you can't do, like that kind of explosion or like the whole set with like the end of Avatar 2 with like the ship sinking. That costs a lot of money, and after a while, like it looks really good, but after a while, like if you don't get the movie done Like you're gonna just waste all the money that you just spent just to set up all these things.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think they can wait, like, another winter season to release this movie. They gotta release it 2022. I don't
Not to
think
mention, like, there's multiple movies after this.
Yeah.
That you have to wait also for them to finish.
Right, there's, like, a whole pipeline going.
Yeah.
They've already filmed some of the characters for the movie after this and the movie after that one, too.
Yeah.
Avatar 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So they already did some filming for those movies already.
Yeah.
Also, some actors for this movie, they did all their filming in like a month. And even though if they were like a major character or sometimes.
Who knows? Maybe there'll be like a director's cut where they redo it. It's all perfectly fine, the story and everything.
Yeah.
And then we're like, why were we so angry about this all the whole time? It's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe it'll all be fine in retrospect or whatever. Who knows?
Yes. And honestly, no one really cares. I don't know anyone who's talking about the movie other than us.
I mean,
I enjoyed my hot dog.
Everyone's going to be watching.
I enjoyed my Nathan's fries.
Everyone's going to be watching this movie anyway. You probably already watched this.
Yeah.
Like, it made $1 billion in the fastest time for, like, I don't know, like...
It's the
in
2020s.
in less than 2 weeks. Like,
Also, it's the 2020s. We have other stuff we need to worry about, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what a lot of this comes down to, right?
Yeah.
I get my hot dog for $5. Hey, there's inflation, but whatever. I'm not having a hot dog. Nathan's hot dog.
Yeah.
All right, that's a pretty good way to end the review. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's get a Nathan's hot dog and Nathan's French fries. Yeah. All right. See ya.
All right, take care. We need a hard out.
Pure PhD out.
Peace.
Peace.